This call.
All right, all right. Hey, good morning. This is Coach 100K, helping you make six figures in this industry. And welcome to the Uplift Breakthrough Leadership Call. Listen, we're excited to have you on the call this morning, and we know that you had an incredible Thanksgiving Day yesterday, which we're always thankful for you because we know you can choose whoever you want to mentor you. And we understand that sometimes your mentor can become your top mentor, but that's okay because it's the way to the top. And we thank you for being here. Now, listen, we get ready to get some incredible teaching today from generations of wealthy knowledge. One thing that the Breakthrough always talks about is that he wants to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, hey, the wisdom's on the way. I'm going to turn it over to our breakthrough specialist. Guys, this individual here is a doer. I mean, listen, he breaks records just to do it. He breaks things on purpose. And he's doing it right here with this incredible company as he is the number one income earner, also the number one breakthrough specialist. Dr. Breakthrough, it's breakthrough time. Shark.
Well, Shark, thank you, Coach 100K, and appreciate you and the Queen Shark, your dedication to empowering 100,000 families to live the six-figure and even seven-figure lifestyle in this industry. And so thank you for all that you do. Well, again, this is an incredible day to be alive. I trust everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know we did here. Oh, my goodness, off the chart. And it's going to continue on because I'm extra grateful and thankful for our speaker today, none other than my favorite oldest son. We got a thing in my household. My daughter, I was like, she's my. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but all of mine are my favorites. So Justin is my favorite. Josiah's the favorite middle one, and Joshua's the favorite oldest one, and Christina is a favorite girl, and so forth. And so, of course, we only have four now with Nadia. Now together we got eight. So I had to reconstruct the talk. But at any rate, it's an incredible day to be alive. And Joshua served as a Marine. I made a mistake one time and said former Marine. He's like, no, Dad, it's fire service. Okay. But he's a second-degree black belt. He's a personal trainer. He's also a bodybuilder and just incredible man of discipline, one of the most disciplined men you ever want to meet. Very, very focused and just an incredible and an all-around respectful and great guy. I mean, just growing up, I'll never forget one time I was meeting with all my children. I was like, I don't ever remember having any problems from y'all. And I think it was either Josh or Christina. One was like, well, your dad, like you're a 10th grade black belt. What was he going to do? I was like, well, I got some friends that their children don't have that respect for them, right? And so anyway, but I was thinking about earlier this morning too in my prayer time, Psalm 35:27. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yea, let them say continually, let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. God is pleased when you prosper. And I thought about in the light of the son, because several people texted me yesterday, you must have been so proud of your son speaking. What? Think about your heavenly Father. He is so blessed when you and I allow him to shine through us. And so, yes, it was a great honor and it's a blessing to see God working through my son, any of my children, and of course, think about the Father. So that's why we have to be on our P's and Q's. We have to let him work through us because he has pleasure in our prosperity. He has pleasure when, my friend, we're walking according to his will. So with great pleasure and delight, I want to introduce again my son, Joshua Stan Harris. He likes being called Jay, and incredible young man. And I promise you, you're going to be blessed beyond measure. So send a quick text or tweet to any young man that you know of. Matter of fact, I told Jonathan, get up, man. Joshua's speaking. So anyway, all right, everybody. Joshua, take it away, my man.
Thank you very much. I guess there's not really much else for me to say. So for those of you that were on the call yesterday, you might have heard me doing a bit of spoken word. And so today we're going to do something a little bit different. However, due to a special request, we're going to go ahead and start off with a spoken word piece anyway, and then get into the rest of it. So this is the first piece that I was actually confident enough to show other people. From when I was 17, it's gone through many different alterations, just updates, whatnot else, but it's pretty much stood up since then. So we're going to go ahead with that, and it's called spitting wisdom. They tell me that propaganda was really big in like World War II, but if you can't spell it, what do you think happened to you? So we accept racist names and turn them into a badge of honor. Now when a rapper says nigga, everybody's like, holla. See, it's time for blacks to spit wisdom and stop just kicking knowledge, because the true value of learning can't be expressed in dollars. You see, my people would sell their souls to make a few dollars as long as it's cash. Taught to think that this world is the only life that they have. So I don't just speak to people that are in ghettos and projects. I speak to atheists who don't understand what I see as common sense, like explain the sun, the moon, and the stars, or explain why a Marine like me is still alive. You say there's no God, but my eyes say that you lie. Like the Emancipation Proclamation that freed slaves, so they died with the Southern economy just to enrich captives' lives. See, Lincoln's proclamation only freed slaves in 7 states in the South. If you pick up a book, you might read he had slaves running in his house. So blacks would use his poems on the chessboard called politics. And Dr. King got checkmate because he's way too smart for this. So the worst fear the government's world is realized. I'm an educated man that discerns truth from lies. But I'm just scratching the surface of the well of knowledge. My thirst is unquenchable, like conflagration destroying David crushed churches. You see, my verses are important like reading Proverbs, and then it hits you. The most important thing you did was stop looking at pictures. You see, I write between the lines. So if you read between the lines, you might find things that are rarely put in rappers' rhymes. I'm not a lunch line with punchlines just wrapped up in code rhymes. No, the flow's ridiculous, so it speaks to your subconscious mind. Now, I don't know of many inventions made that are so dangerous to use. Tell me, who was it that invented the television or the tube? You see, my thoughts are imported, like AKs, cocaine, and cheap labor. Now, how can you pass laws against welfare's favor when the indigenous peoples of this land were permanently imprisoned, satiated with whiskey and a government pension? So Native Americans get reparations and African Americans get welfare. And it sounds like the same thing with a different name until you explain to me why it isn't fair. You see, to American evil, truth is like a gnat brush from your hair. Tell everyone is better, nobody cares. Act like it's all gone and it's not really there. And that's why blind and dumb monkeys act like they can't hear. But it doesn't have to be a conspiracy. As soon as someone can please explain to me why it's easier for some kids to buy cocaine than cigarettes. You feeling me? You see, the wars that America loses are just swept under the rug. So tell me, how can we win if we're just fighting us?
Oh, come on now.
All right. So that was for my dad for his birthday. He wanted that.
We all
so right
that.
before, all right, amen. So right before I get into the speaking, I don't know, how religious some people are or not, or what your relationship is, but I'm going to go ahead and pray because that's my life. So, dear Lord, we ask for your help. I'm about to speak right now, and I pray that you'll give me the words. I pray that it will reach some hearts, maybe try to change some mindsets, if not lives, and definitely help somebody out today. I am thankful for this opportunity and for the ability that you have given me. May my light so shine that they glorify my Father which is in heaven. Amen. So today I want to talk to you real quick about an appetite for a birthright. Now I'm going to disambiguate that a little bit. I mean that in two ways. I mean both an appetite towards a birthright, and an appetite in exchange for a birthright. And we'll get into the breakdown a little bit. Now, again, I don't know how much you know about the Bible, so I'm just going to give you a quick little overview. There were two brothers named Jacob and Esau, Esau being the older one. Now, what you do need to know about this first off is that Esau was a favorite of his father, and Jacob was a favorite of his mother, being the youngest. Now, back in the day, the oldest got the birthright and the blessing, essentially everything. They got the inheritance, and then they also got the spiritual blessing, which would multiply them in the future. The first one is simply a matter of birth, as the name implies, birthright. The firstborn has the right to the inheritance, to the physical wealth and whatnot of his father, of the family. The blessing is something different. It's not. It is a right, but it isn't a right, as it shows in the Bible. Sometimes it's not necessarily the firstborn who gets that blessing. However, that blessing is just actually probably more important than the birthright, because that blessing will multiply you beyond what you already have. That's just setting the stage right now. So, Esau and Jacob. Esau was a man of the field. He liked to hunt and whatnot. Jacob was a little bit more of a homebody. That may have been why his mom liked him a little bit more. Esau was a hairy man and just like a man's man, so to speak. And one day, Esau was out there, hunting, doing his thing, And Jacob was just kind of chilling, and he was making himself a little stew. I'm going to call it chili, just to just to bring a little current for us. So he was making up some chili. Now this wasn't any type of chili. This was some banging chili, like the type that makes your nose run just a little bit, but still got a little like sweet in it, like some really really good. That's the stuff he was making. So he's making this really really good chili. His brother, is out there hunting whatever else. He's hungry. He smells it. He comes up to him. He's like, "Look, man, I'm hungry. I am hungry. I'm famished. Let me get some of that." Now Jacob, not being the necessarily physically or physical person, was more of a mental person. He was a little more cunning, and actually it means trickster. His name. So he was a trickster from the beginning. Anyway, so his brother asks for food, and he gives him an outrageous request. In return, he says, "Give me your birthright. Give me the inheritance that you will obtain from our father in exchange for this one bowl of food." Now, I can imagine that at first Esau was like, "Are you crazy? Like, no, why? No, absolutely not. XYZ." But as the Bible says, he eventually says that he cannot enjoy his birthright if he's dead. So essentially he's saying, look, I need food to live. I don't need the birthright to live right now. Here's the important thing: right now. All right? So if you have a birthright, do you think, matter of fact, you're the oldest son, blah, 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 do you think anyone's going to let you die? Matter of fact, do you think one meal is going to kill you? No. So I don't know the whole situation surrounding this, but what I do know is that the man sold his entire inheritance for one meal. And later on, when their father was going to pass, Jacob's mother gave him some advice, and I'm just going to cut this really short. Long story short, he also ended up stealing the blessing, this time completely through trickery. And the price, part of the price of that was, for a very large period of time, he both ran away from home and was afraid, literally afraid of his brother, his older brother, that he would try to kill him, because his older brother did want to actually kill him. So that's that whole story real quick, and let's back up just a little bit and talk about it a little bit more in detail and then apply it to our lives. So an entire inheritance for a bowl of stew, of chili. That means the house. That means the car. That means all the money. Of course, back then they didn't have a car, but you understand what I'm saying. Back then it was a bunch of cattle and all that. All the physical wealth that his father had accumulated over a lifetime, he despised it so much. It says in the Bible, he despised his birthright. I mean, he looked down on, not necessarily that he hated it, but that he did not value it enough. He looked at it as probably, or maybe because, he's like, oh, I'm big, strong, young man. I can earn whatever I need to back. Doesn't matter why. What matters is that he despised the thing that his father had literally been working an entire lifetime for. How does that apply to our lives? Well, it's kind of a one-for-one the way that I see it, because we all have a birthright. Now, it may not have been from your parents, but your birthright from your second birth, if you are a Christian. And if you're not a Christian, you're not, you don't believe in God or whatever else, just know that you still have a purpose. God still has a purpose for you. You don't have to believe in him for him to believe in you. If you want to say the universe or whatever else, hey, you can pretend like, God's anonymous. But what we're getting at here is everyone has a purpose. Everyone has something they are supposed to do. And we all want to walk in that purpose, because you feel incomplete when you're not walking in the purpose. You feel the need to do something better. You feel as though you are either stagnant or just not in the right place. You don't feel, you feel out of joint. You just don't feel comfortable. It doesn't really flow, if that makes any sense. So we all have this thing that we are meant to do. However, at the same point in time, we also have our appetites. We have things that we want now and things that we may need later. Let's say it again. We have things that we want now and things that we may need later. There's something that I wrote, a really short piece, and it says that instant gratification is almost never worth it. I'll explain to you why, the same way that I explained to my young Marines. So when you join the Marine Corps, one of the things people tell you is don't volunteer for anything. All right? Like, you already did volunteer when you signed up, but don't volunteer for anything. And it seems like some good advice, but it's not. Here's the reason why. Always accept the price up front. That way you know what you're paying. Again, always accept the price up front. That way you know what you're paying. There's something called interest. Interest does not apply to something. There may be sales tax, but interest does not apply to something that you buy immediately. You know exactly how much you have to pay. You pay that, it's done. If you delay your payment for instant gratification, you will end up paying a higher price. So the Marine Corps always told them, hey, if it's something that you know you can do, and it's not too bad, go ahead and volunteer for it now. That way, if something worse comes up later on, you don't have to worry about it. Does that always work? No. Maybe sometimes, you get the short end of the stick, X, Y, Z, but it has a much better success rate, right? It's statistically a better idea. The same goes for life. You want to pay the price or know the price at the very least before you begin the action. You need to know what you're paying, right, before you enjoy the benefits of whatnot, of whatever it may be. So the thing with, say, sin versus righteousness, God versus devil, X, Y, Z, is that all the things that feel good right now, right, the instant gratification, like say you want to have sex out of wedlock, right? And there's things called STDs. You have unwanted pregnancies or just, surprise, X, Y, Z. There are so many things that can come from that. Somebody's angry baby's father, blah, 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 blah. And that's the price of your instant gratification. You don't know what the price is going to be up front. You don't know if you're going to end up with HIV. You don't know if you're going to end up with something that, could just be curable. You don't know if someone's going to try to kill you because they love the person that you're trying to love. You don't know. And so you are essentially committing to a price that you don't know up front. It's very, very dangerous to do. I apologize. I'm a little bit distracted right now. Someone came in to talk to me. Anyway, as we were speaking about Appetite for Birthright, so the thing that I've learned is that for something to live, something else must die. For a baby chicken to live, it must first die to its environment inside of the egg. For a sprout to live, it must first die to itself as a seed, right? For a baby to live, it must first die to the womb to be born into the world. Now, when I say die, I don't necessarily mean physically deceased. I mean that the place that I'm from doesn't exist anymore, sort of thing. There is no going back. That's what I mean by dying to. Now, Christians know we're supposed to die every day to ourselves, and this is why, because you can become something greater in the end. Now, if you've noticed the lives of those that are living correctly or living morally, X, Y, Z, most of the time they don't have the same things. They don't have the same things to deal with as some other people who may be just doing, what feels good, what they want to do. And that is because, in part, they are delaying their gratification and paying the price up front. So, appetite for a birthright. What are you hungry for? That's the question. What are you really hungry for? Now, you may say that you want success. You may say that you want to be a better person. You may say all type of things. But what actually happens? The proof is in the pudding. What actually comes out of you and what is apparent in your life, right? So what are you willing to give up to attain what you may need? Anything in life, as I said before, something has to die for something else to live. There is always a sacrifice. Everything has a price in life. You may not be the one to pay it, but everything has a price. And the price for anything great is a sacrifice. Sacrifice doesn't necessarily need to be great. It depends. Generally speaking, though, as the laws of physics state, with to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. In the same basic vein, so in life, if you want to do something major, you're probably going to have to sacrifice something major. So, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do something, to be on a phone call, to speak on a phone call, to listen and get some new knowledge? And understand that if you're not willing to, someone else is. Someone else is working as hard as you say you're willing to work for the thing that you say you need or want. If you're going to step onto the global stage, you don't need to just outwork everyone in the room. You need to outwork everyone in the world. Your competition is no one but yourself. Now, let me tell you that I'm not being like holier than that, whatever else. A lot of this, I'm speaking to myself for real. Procrastination is one of my problems. Basically, I do it now or I don't do it. So, as E.T. the hip hop preacher says, though, how bad do you want it? You might kind of want it, right? You want it enough to work 5 days a week. You might kind of want it. You want it enough to go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, as long as it's not too early. You kind of want it. You don't mind staying a little bit late, but not too late because you don't want to miss the game. You kind of want it. You don't want to be in traffic if you have to. You kind of want it. You just want to be comfortable while you're trying to obtain it. You kind of want it, but you don't really exhibit how much you want it, right? So what would someone else say is your goal in life? What would the people that know you, that have followed your life, that have a window into you, say is your goal, is your driving force? Ask them. And I submit to you that if they cannot give you the correct answer, you're doing something wrong. When you love something, when it is inside of you, even if you don't see it, other people will, and they will tell you. Other people will see what is inside of you. And that shine, as I said earlier, it says in the Bible, let my light so shine before men that they may glorify my Father which is in heaven. So that which is inside of you should come out. A tree produces fruit, right? Or bushes, different type of trees, of course, not all trees, but trees produce fruit. Bushes produce, their fruit, whatnot. Flowers, they may have some nettles, whatnot else. They produce flowers. What are you actually producing? What is your light? What is actually coming out of your life? And one last thing, when you break free, when you die to what you were, your environment changes. Like I said, the place I'm from doesn't exist anymore. For the baby, the womb is not an option anymore. It must learn to adapt to its new environment, accept new stimuli, and form new responses based off of this new environment and stimuli. Same thing for a baby chick. Same thing for the seed. The seed does not contain everything that the sprout needs to live. The seed contains enough for the sprout to break free of itself, or break free on its own, to then draw in more nutrients from the surrounding environment. The baby chick, the egg does not give the chick everything it needs to live. No, once it breaks free, it must now seek a new way to eat. It must seek a new way to live, to thrive. This is the same way for you. If you say you died to something, then something must be different. What you put in must be different. It needs to nourish not who you were, not even necessarily who you are, but who you are looking to become, right? Now, as a baby, you might drink milk, and then as you get older, maybe you have something that's crushed up, that's pulsed, and then as you get older, you eat something a little bit more solid, and the next thing you know, you can eat anything, right? You can eat jawbreakers, whatever. You know how to operate in different circumstances. If a grown person was only drinking milk, I'm not even going to get into the subject of milk, the animal's milk, and blah, blah, blah. But let's just say human milk. If a grown person was only drinking milk, they would be lacking many nutrients, and we'd think something was wrong with them. Why? Because they are expected to grow. They are expected to evolve, so to speak, to become something else, something capable of more. What have you done recently that is more than who you are? People say that God will never give you more than you can handle. That's not true. He won't tempt you above what you're able. He will give you a way to escape. Does not mean he will not give you more than you can handle. Let me tell you why. If you've ever been to the gym, you understand you build muscles by what's called progressive overload, meaning you must do something that you cannot currently do. You must attempt something you cannot currently do. You must push more weight than you used to be able to. And you have a spotter just in case you're doing something you cannot do. Why? Because you get stronger by pushing your boundaries, by pushing your capabilities, not by being comfortable and sitting in what you can currently do. So when was the last time you were challenged? When was the last time you challenged yourself. And what are you doing? What are you willing to do? What will you now do from here on out that is greater and more than who you currently are in preparation for who you were meant to be? You have a choice. You may either choose your appetite, what you want now, and pay for it later, or you may choose your birthright, what you need, and you can pay for it now. The choice is yours. My name is Joshua Harris, and that has been my time. Thank you very much.
Wow. 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 Coach 100K, what you got to say?
Man, listen. I'm here. Listen, I'm here. I'm tongue tied because this young man is super fantastic. That's what I tell you right there. I mean, listen, hey, he's electrifying, and spitting out. I don't know how these kids do it. Spit it out like that, man. But it touches the heart. And hey, little Josh, man, Coach is really impressed. Thank you so much for the value you brought to us today. Keep on keeping on. Shock.
Shark. Wow. And what powerful words of wisdom. Now, Josh, again, in conclusion, can you also just share briefly, I know you had an experience, a lot of folks on this line are also using the hydration drops. You being a personal trainer and a very logistical, detailed person, could you share briefly your experience with the hydration drops? Because I don't think, your testimony was so powerful, and some of them will have heard it, but if you don't mind sharing that just briefly, I think that'll bless some of the folks here on the line as well. Because I called you, I was like, Josh, man, you got it. You know, of course, I'm your dad, and I was just saying, Josh, man, I'm telling you. And you're like, okay, Dad. But we met, I think, at Smoky John's there, and I gave you some water. And anyway, so if you don't mind sharing just briefly your thought on the hydration drops.
Okay, no problem. Candidly speaking, the hydration drops are probably the greatest addition to my daily life that I have made. Like, from just some company, not going to stores, whatever else, but the greatest healthy addition I made to my life recently, at the very, very least. So right now, I have a job that includes me going outside a lot, and I'm in Texas. So that means triple degree weather for a good 3 months. And let me tell you the difference for me that I've noticed. I will end up drinking an entire gallon of water. I do sweat freely, an entire gallon of water throughout the day just to try to stay a certain level hydrated. And before, I would not be hydrated by the end of the day, just checking by colors and whatnot of urination. However, with the hydration drops, I am hydrated while drinking half of the amount of water that I used to drink. So not only that, it also helps with keeping you regular. If you don't know what laxatives do, is they draw water from your lower intestines to help facilitate the movement of your bowels. Well, this water, instead of just sitting on top of the food, it actually absorbs into your body, through your body. For me personally, I could actually feel it when I first started drinking. I could feel it going through my body. And it's one of the ways I can tell if I'm empty, if I'm hungry, is because when I drink it, I can feel it literally going through my body. But this water, what it does and how it hydrates is so much greater than water in and of itself. Now, I'm going to be upfront with you. I don't know how it works. Microclustering, whatever, or something. I don't know. There's H2O. Like, how do you do more than that? I don't know. But I do know for sure that it works. It is amazing. It is great. And it's what keeps me hydrated through my working out, through work, through whatever else may happen. I'm sweating all day. I have big, heavy dreadlocks. This is Texas. And these water drops are saving my life. Perhaps not literally, but not very far from it. So thank you.
Wow. Wow. And I know you're You probably just ordered again. It's probably been, what, 6.5 months since your first bottle?
Something like that. Yes, sir. It's
So
been quite a while.
quite a bit. Yeah. And then if you don't mind sharing, I don't know if you remember, you said to me once, you said, Dad, you said, this customer service is off the chart. He's like, this is incredible. So I don't know if you remember. Could you share the story when you first got your bottle?
So the first bottle I got had a broken dropper in it. And I procrastinated. I told you before I have a problem with that. I procrastinated, and I was like, I just don't want to deal with this. I'm like, it probably won't hurt me. Not really thinking about the fact that there is most likely microscopic or just smaller than I can see particles of glass floating around, and yes, it can harm me. I finally got around to messaging the company, told them what had happened, took some pictures. They asked no questions. They didn't ask for the bottle back, anything. They just sent me a new bottle with the stopper, the dropper rather, whole intact. And then not only that, but the new bottle that I just ordered, this one came in different packaging, which I like my dad said, I'm detail oriented. This one came in different packaging that very, very well protected the bottle, above and beyond what the old one did. So not only did they immediately make it right with no problems, no complaints, whatever else, but also it's reflected in their packaging that they have realized that is something that can be a problem and they are working to fix it. So for me, I never even had to talk to anyone. I literally sent an email and got a bottle. That was it. And that is amazing customer service to me.
Wow. I know you just ordered some, what is that, Vitalize or something else. And I'm sure you don't even know it because you probably never looked in the back office. You're actually on the scoreboard for orders for this month. You got 2 different orders in for this month, and you probably didn't even recognize that your name is back there on the scoreboard. So congratulations, champ.
Thank you.
So anyway, so now, folks, but this young man practices what you just heard, and I'm telling you, if we would. That's why some of you even wonder, why in the world would Dr. Breakthrough, if he's the top earner, the top recruiter, why is he doing a webinar on Thanksgiving Day? Well, because I just squeezed it in. It took me 20 minutes. And so I just, but you just never know. And guess what? 4 people yesterday end up signing up. I'm saying you just never know, folks. So again, you got to, as Josh was saying, do you have a hunger? Do you have an appetite for a birthright? Do you have an appetite to live out what God has put in you and to be all that he has for you? And in this leadership call, that's why we're calling leaders. You got to step to a higher calling. You got to step up. Like I said, sometimes you need to call, but other times the call needs you. And that's one reason why, again, I told Justin, we got all these J's. I get them all mixed up. And so Joshua didn't have it as bad as the rest because he was the first one, but everybody else was like, whatever your name is, come here. But Jonathan, I was like, make sure you get up and listen to what Josh has to say, man. I'm telling you, you're going to need this. But we need more of our young men that are hearing other powerful young men who are taking a stand for righteousness, taking a stand for right, doing the right thing, and the so-called stereotypical of that's so wrong. As I love what Josh said in that one line, I'm an educated man that discerns truth from lies. And so anyway, so thank you, man. You have added great value, and I'm not saying this because you're my son. I'm saying this because it's the truth. That was off the chart presentation. I mean, that was like bad to the bone. You did it in record time. I mean, you stopped even before you had 2 minutes extra. And so that's incredible. And so we appreciate you. And I just want you to know, obviously, I love you, but I'm also proud to be your dad. And thank you for adding great value to our leadership call today. And folks, I'm telling you, this is what you got to have. If you use this principle in your spiritual life, you'll get a breakthrough. You use this principle in your business life, you're going to get a breakthrough. So I know some of you are a little weary, and some of you, listen, you just got to keep on keeping on, because I'm telling you, my friend, how hungry are you for that birthright? Are you determined? Are you determined? Don't turn back from the plow. You started, now let's continue on.